close to where they execute people too. Stark's only 30 minutes away. Rayford's where they execute everybody in Florida is only like 30 minutes away from Gainesville too. So I guess they are kind of close to where they execute people. I don't know. I think execution's kind of fucked up. I think that puts us in a bad group of people, countries that execute people. You know, like it's not a deterrent. Nobody's going to stop killing somebody because they're worried about getting killed 15 years after they get arrested. You know, and I don't know. It doesn't seem to work out. But that's my little personal opinion on it.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. You came in, you killed it, and you know we had fun, man. It was enjoyable talking about filmmaking, like on that level. You know, I've talked to people who are like maybe on a higher level, higher budget type thing, but it's cool to hear somebody talk about what it takes and all the bullshit you kind of have to put up with along the way. And I thought it was interesting. Can you let everybody know where they can kind of keep an eye on you and some of the things you're doing? I know you have a YouTube channel and some other stuff going on.
Oh man, I'm so bad about that stuff. Probably just, I don't know, find me on Facebook. I'm Josh Townsend on Facebook or the YouTube channel. I don't promote myself at all. Like, I'm so bad, man. I've got a buddy that, like, whenever I do a short, like, that I actually direct or I need, like, I have an archivist, I give him shit. Like, he's got the actual masters of Gainesville Ripper and, like, all my shorts that I did 10 years, 15 years ago or whatever. He's an old bootlegger. We used to be old DVD bootleggers, so we'd go to the Fangoria conventions and shit, and all the movies that weren't available in America, especially like the Japanese and Chinese movies, the Cat 3 movies and stuff in the early 90s that they weren't available here. You know, we go sell them and bootleg VHS and stuff. So he kind of still does that a little bit on eBay, and he'll put little extras on his movies, and sometimes he'll put like some of my shorts in or something like that. So it's pretty cool. But I'm so bad about fucking promoting myself. I don't know. I would hope, like, once I do something really good, hopefully this feature I'm going to start working on, you'll just hear about it, and there'll be some way to fucking get in touch with me. But I just really just have a personal fucking Facebook, and my YouTube thing's actually kind of weird because I'm not that the security on it's kind of weird, so I do throw stuff just to show somebody, like if I'm making a movie or I'm doing effects somebody, or like somebody asked to see something and I did, I'll just throw it up on YouTube and not make the link public, but it's still there, I guess, and you can go to my shit and find it, and probably find some weird shit on my YouTube, like on my YouTube account, that's public that just isn't listed, that I'm not, like, I know Gainesville Ripper's up there, there's in 2 parts up there somewhere. I really need to make private sometime, but I kind of stopped caring. I figure, like, if I make a really good fucking cool crime feature, then that's when people will get interested in Gainesville Ripper, and then, if someone wants to buy it or something, or wants to deal with selling it, then we can do that. But I don't know, man. I'm different, dude. I'm not like all the normal filmmaker people, dude. Like, I really did, like, 5 years ago, figure out, like, making movies is way cooler if you're not worried about making a living doing it. Like, once you're worried about eating, then that fucks your art up completely, dude. Like, if you have to worry about being able to put bread on your table, or you have a family to worry about, or rent or something like that, your art's going to change no matter what. Since I stopped worrying about that, like, I've been having a great time just doing cool stuff that I actually really consider art, so I'm not as much about promoting and stuff. But then, just Google Josh Townsend and creep on my Facebook and creep on my YouTube, I guess, is the best I can say.
Sounds good, man. Well, tell you what, let's talk sometime down the line when we're away from the Gainesville Ripper subject. How's that sound?
Hey, that sounds good. Yeah, I was, like I said, I just started checking out your website and stuff, and the movies you talk about, like, I would love to talk about that stuff. I'm really knowledgeable about all those movies, like, especially all the fucking 70s and 80s and 90s horror and exploitation stuff. Like,
we're talking about Deranged next week, 1974, believe it or not.
I love Dean. Yeah, this guy's got one of my favorite lines in it. He's like, He's talking about having sex with a girl or something, a fat girl. He didn't want to have sex with a fat girl. He's like, I'm afraid I'll get stuck in all that fat and not be able to get out. That's one of my favorite lines. Yeah, dude, that's Bob Clark movie, one of Tom Savini's first effects movies. That's Ezra Cobb. Isn't that his name in it, Ezra Cobb?
Yep, that's who it is. Yep, you called it.
Yeah, man, I'm really knowledgeable about that movie, man. That's fucking. I used to want to make Ed Gein. That was the first thing I want to do, is make an Ed Gein movie back in the day, actually. But I don't think there's any way to make a really, especially now. I don't think there's a way to make a. There's just not enough story there. You'd end up doing just some weird, creepy thing, and they probably did the best with Deranged. Deranged is definitely the best Ed Gein movie there is. But know, I don't know how you'd make a legit Ed Gein movie without just trying to be creepy and nasty and Aftermath a year or something. Like, I don't know. But yeah, dude, I'd love to hear about that, man. I like Deranged a lot, dude. There's some really cool stories about the effects and how they made the movie and everything. It's the main actor is fucking awesome. He is so good in it. I can't remember his name. I don't know. It's on the tip of my tongue, but he's really pulls all stops in that movie. He does a perfect fucking crazy guy, but I can go on about that kind of stuff, man.
Hell yeah, man. We'll definitely talk about stuff like that down the line. And thanks again, Josh. I appreciate it, man. You take care, and like I said, we'll talk soon, okay?
Hey, buddy. Sounds good, man. If you ever want to chat about like some of those exploitation movies or something, just drop me a line, man. I'll come on and chat up you. That'd be cool.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right, man. You have a good night.
All right, brother. You too, man.
Later.
Thanks.
Bye, bro. And that was the writer and director of the Gainesville Ripper. And so with that said, I think what I'll do now is I'll continue our little narrative about Danny Rolling. And, like I said, he has talked about this ad nauseum. You can actually hear some of the stuff that's out there. And like I said, you can catch some of that stuff online. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and get back into it here. Okay, so where we left off was when we were talking about his dad's abuse of him, and that was something that Josh actually brought up. So as a teenager and a young adult, Rawling was actually arrested several times for robberies in Georgia, and he was a peeping Tom. Vic, are you there, buddy?
Yes, sir.
Do you know where the term peeping Tom comes from?
I have no idea, actually.
You didn't? Well, I was
No.
hoping you did so you could tell the story, because I don't fucking know. No, I'm just kidding. So there's a weird story behind it, okay? So it's actually after the legendary Peeping Tom of Coventry, England, so Lady Godiva, somebody kept wanting to see her undressing and kept wanting to see it, and he just wouldn't go away. So it's a different time period, okay? So she says to everybody that she's, or he tells her that he'll stop looking if she rides through the city naked. So she tells everybody not to look, except for Tom of Coventry, who ends up peeping. So Peeping Tom comes from there. And that's what good old Danny Rolling was when he was a kid. He was a Peeping Tom himself. And I would assume he was doing more than just that. But that's how Bundy started, He was kind of a Peeping Tom. Well, I don't know if that's how he started, but I know later on he was a Peeping Tom,
Yeah.
Anyway, so as an adult, Danny he had trouble trying to get into society. I guess if you get the shit beat out of you by your dad growing up and your mom kind of gets her ass beat too, then there's really not a whole lot of fitting in that you're going to do. So at one point, Danny actually worked as a waiter at Poncho's restaurant in Shreveport, Louisiana. And then in May 1990, he attempted to kill his dad with he fucking shot him. His dad actually lost an eye and an ear. He thought he killed him. Danny thought he killed his dad, which, you know what, if you're Danny, I think you can't really blame the guy for doing what he did. I mean, like I said, his dad was just an asshole. And I'm not one of those people that think that, that's what happened, so of course he became that way. My thought process is just this. It's like, what did you expect to happen, though,
Yeah.
And he actually has a background, unlike a lot of these people. So, August 1990, Rawling actually murdered 5 students, 1 from Santa Fe College and 4 from the University of Florida during a burglary and robbery spree in Gainesville, which everybody knows. I think most people know. If you watch any of the documentaries out there, you'll find that out. But the interesting thing with Rolling is I always compare him to Bundy, because of the fact that he was, doing B&Es, and, breaking and entering, and mostly he was a lady killer like Bundy. He was a rapist and a serial murderer, but that wasn't true 100% of the time, because we'll go ahead and start his spree. So in the early, and this was a pretty quick thing, like, I never really understood how quick this was, that this went on not that long of a period of time, Vic? Like, it wasn't one of these things that went on for years, like a Bundy or a Gacy. This was really over the span of a few days, if you don't count the Louisiana murders, which we'll get into later. But anyway, so in the early morning hours of August 24th, 1990, Rolling actually broke into the apartment that was shared by 17-year-old university freshman Sonia Larson and Christina Powell. And so he finds Powell asleep on the downstairs couch, and he stands over her briefly, doing all creepy things, probably jerking off, smelling her, whatever it is, a fucking creepy dude like that does. I'm sure it was something weird, right? Something like Corey or John would do.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Corey's a voyeur. He does the same shit. So he instead of doing anything to her, he actually goes upstairs to the bedroom where he finds Larson, who's also asleep. And Rolling actually murdered Larson there, they think. First he tapes her mouth shut to stifle her screams, and then he stabs her to death. And he stabbed her multiple times, and she died while trying to fend him off. And then he goes back downstairs, tapes Powell's mouth shut, binds her wrists together behind her back, and then he threatened her with a knife as he cut her clothes off of her. And apparently he didn't just cut her clothes off of her. It was vicious. Like, he ripped her bra off and shit. Like, things that you don't think about would suck, but you just have to think about how something like that feels. Like, if somebody tears your shirt off of you, it doesn't feel good, but, getting stabbed to death sucks worse. And
I would have to assume so.
So he rapes her, and he forces her face down onto the floor, where he stabs her 5 times in the back. And this kind of reminds me of Zodiac right here. When Zodiac has the couple that's tied up, and he stabs the shit out. I mean, he stabs them both, but he really gets the girl worse. Something about that, tying somebody up and then stabbing them in the back. I don't know. It reminds me of Zodiac. Maybe he was homaging Zodiac. What do you think?
Yes, I would. I mean, Zodiac.
And this is the thing that is, and Josh talked about this, how in Gainesville, the dude was like an urban legend down there, a real urban legend. And this is why, I think this is why Josh is probably just tired of it, talking about it, which I don't blame him, because you talk about it all the time on that, then you go on a bunch of true crime podcasts. But this is where he sets himself apart from a lot of the other serial killers. He actually poses the bodies in sexually provocative positions, and then he left the apartment. So whoever comes in is going to find these 2 dead chicks that are all, like, fucking humiliated after death. And it's really fucked up to think about. You know what I'm saying? Like, not only did he kill them viciously.
It's kind of funny.
You're a sick bastard. He sets them up, like, in sexual positions for people to find him. And it's like, God damn, dude, you couldn't just kill him and leave. He just had a whole thing to it, He was a rapist, a murderer, and an artist, I suppose, because that's really what he did here. I mean, that's kind of like an Ed Gein thing, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
No, Johnny, wherever you are, if you're listening, it's not Ed Gein, it's Ed Gein. Just saying.
Ed Gein.
All right, so the news of this comes out, I assume, the next day. And the next day, on Saturday, August 25th, 1990, by the way, in a few days, it'll be the anniversary of these crimes. So I guess happy anniversary, wherever you are, Danny Rolling. I assume in hell if there is one, but I'm not one to speak on the subject because I really don't know. I haven't been there. I had an ex-wife, so I did live in hell for a while. So. Yeah, he's wherever Aaron Hernandez is. Whatever happens to people like that, that's where he is. Well, Rolling breaks into the apartment where 18-year-old Krista Hoyt lived. He pried open a sliding glass door with his K-bar knife, which this is kind of his trademark, okay? Bundy was a ladies' man. He would choke these chicks out while he's raping them. This dude, while he would choke them, he would generally kill them with this K-bar.